Go.
Okay. Hey, everybody. So here is a bit of what I shared in Richmond, Virginia this last Saturday. So you guys, we have so many people who need these Juice Plus products. We have so many people who need the Juice Plus business. And it's really going to come down to us being consistent. So today we are going to talk more about our consistency and what that does to just help us have an impact on tons of people, including ourselves. So if you look at this girl in the bubble, basically 18 years ago, this was me. My friends would have told you that I'm like this girl. I just walked around, everything worked out for me. I was happy. I had a great marriage, great kids, great health, great life. Things just always worked out for me. And then along came this business on top of it all, and I had no idea how much I would end up needing this business, but I decided to do it as a little side gig. And when I got in, though, I did know that I wanted that full commission. It made no sense to me to let, my other commission go away, that I wanted to not leave any money on the table. So I said, hey, what do I need to do to get to that sales coordinator level and get the full commission? And I was told to get 5 new customers a month and bring on some buddies. So I didn't know any better. That's what I did. And so for 2 consecutive years, I can hardly think of a month that I did not have at least 5 new customers. And then I just started immediately bringing in some buddies and just talking to other people that thought this would be fun to do with me and that I thought they would be fun to work with. And then, we brought on more buddies and more buddies. And before I knew it, it was like, oh my gosh, I was going to events and I had a vision that I wanted to become national marketing director. And I did become national marketing director 4 years from the date I signed my contract. And on top of all that, things were really moving quickly. I was nominated for a couple of Eltons, including the Rookie of the Year. And like I said, things were just working out for me. I felt like life, I was on top of the world. And so I hope that some of you are in this bubble and that you're able to maintain your bubble. But sometimes life happens. And so life happened for me and my bubble burst. And I didn't just have one crazy thing happening, but even within a year, the majority of these things on the list all started in one time. And so my husband was laid off from his corporate America job. In order to get a comparable job, we had to move from everybody and everything that we knew in Nebraska and move to North Carolina where we knew nobody. I had to leave a very thriving, wonderful Juice Plus team. Our daughters had chosen college that they could specifically have a 3-hour drive home, and we had to leave them. That means they no longer had a home base that they could just drive home to. And Ron got cancer. And then once we moved, we found out that Ron had multiple cancers. And then we found out that one of his cancers, the melanoma, had metastasized to stage 4. And along the way, we did have happy things happen as well. Both of my daughters got married 5 weeks apart in 2 different states. And it was all great, but they were all things that derailed us from business, basically. And that's what Eric Johnson says, that every 4 months you're going to have something come along and derail you. It might be something as mild as bronchitis, or it could be, one of those biggies that I just put on the screen. And it just makes me think to Bear Grylls. Bear Grylls was the youngest to get to the summit of Mount Everest. And he said, we all have our Everest in life. It's all different. Your Everest might be you just have really low self-esteem. Your Everest could be you're going through a divorce. Your Everest could be a number of different things. But he said, what you have to be careful of is you do not want to get attached to your story, because what you focus on expands. And if you just keep thinking of your story, you're going to be stopped in your tracks. You're never going to make it to your summit and what you want to do. You might even fall back down the mountain. So the most important thing you can do is keep an oar in the water at all times. And this is something I'm so grateful that I did, because even when we've had a lot of really rough times in the last 10 years, but I still continued to going. I mean, I always went to conference. I went to as many boot camps as I could. I went to some regional trainings here that Ron would go with me, and he was having such horrible side effects. I remember on one specifically that he couldn't even come in with me. He could barely make it up to the hotel room and into the bed. But I just kept my oar in the water, because I also knew going within this community, I felt just so lifted up. And we've had so many people praying for us. We've had card campaigns for us. We've had so much support. So if you have that oar in the water, that's not the time to go hide your head and quit, or not let people know that you're struggling. That's the time to let this community know that, hey, I really want to be part of this, and I'm struggling, because somebody in this community is going to throw you an oar, okay? We might even get in the boat and help you row it until you get strong enough again. So no matter what you do, you don't quit, because your choices are going to ultimately decide your success or not having success. And it doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. It's going to be there are going to be a lot of days still that you're not going to feel like doing something with your business. But think about it, and those of you who already have full-time jobs, in anything that you're doing, you can't just wake up and say, you know what, I don't feel like doing it again. I'm not gonna do anything towards my business today. No, you would have to get up and go to work even when you don't feel like it. You might not perform at as high of a level, but you'd still be in touch. And that's what you have to stay in touch with your business, always being consistent. And really the number one thing you can do is take action. Action is going to cure the fear. And the number one thing I see with taking action is probably the top fear I see people is follow-up or customer care. It's talking to people, right? We can share our stories and we might even share the videos, but then it's like, to call and follow up and see if they're ready to get started or if it made sense to them like it does to you. To call and follow up well before their box is going to ship and find out, how they're doing on their Juice Plus and how much they love it. It's all a mindset that we just have to take that action no matter what. And we have to consistently do it. We cannot touch our business just one time during the week. You create no flow. The verbiage won't come. We have to be consistent. We can have an event, and if you invite like crazy to an event, but then do no follow-up, no sharing of the product, and it all drops, then everything you did, you're not going to see growth. This business is about having consistency and touching your business every day, even if it's only for 15 minutes. And to do that, you really do need to create a daily method of operation. And when I first started in this business, I did everything on paper. I did the 2x2x2 plan. That worked really great for me. And if you like a paper plan, I encourage you to look up that form. It's on the missiondrivenmodel.info. But now that Team Z has come along and we have a web-based system, I find that it's so much more efficient, and it increases what I want to do. This is a dashboard from the Team Z system, and basically those circles are showing you how complete your day is. It's telling you how many people you connected with. And I love that. I always know, my 72%, what am I doing and how much farther do I have to go to get done? And some days you just don't know who to contact. You don't have to think. With Team Z, it's going to come up with a list of names. And if you don't know what to say, it's even going to give you a script for each incident to get started. So I think adding the Team Z system, or at least having any system, is going to greatly increase your confidence level, which is going to increase your momentum, your accountability. And for me, adding the Team Z system has brought the fun back to my business. And the reason it's more fun is because it's relationship marketing. And in the past, I felt like I was really out there because I really did want people to learn about Juice Plus. But if they weren't interested in Juice Plus, it's embarrassing to say, but I kind of dropped them. I really had that, next mentality, or just the go for no. You may have heard of that, where you're just seeing how many people will say no because you're trying to get to the yeses. And the Team Z relationship marketing idea is more about go for more conversations, go for better and deeper relationships. And it just feels so much better to me. So whatever system you're going to use, make sure that you're focusing on the relationship. So I'm going to tell a little story on myself. My old ways, I'd come up with some verbiage, and every time that an event came to town, I would invite everybody imaginable that was within driving distance. And I would have energy and tell them why it was going to be awesome and why I thought they would love it. And then I would copy and paste, and I would send those out. And most of the time, the majority of them had no response, like absolutely zero response. And the reason I know that is because when I started doing the Team Z system, they wanted us to reconnect with people with the simplest of conversations. In fact, I thought it was downright ridiculous. I was embarrassed to send out the first script was basically kind of like, hey, Pam, just stopping by to say, hi, how are you? I hope you have an awesome day. That was it. And so I took that script and I decided I was going to be teachable. I was going to use it. And I would go into Messenger, and there were so many times I would see 7, 10, or 12 bubbles back after back after back from me that I had blasted them with the latest Juice Plus event, and zero response. So I almost thought, should I put this silly little script in here? They're like, why would I do that? But I did it. I was brave and I did it. And do you know, a lot of them responded back to me. And now we're starting to have dialogue and build relationships again. So it's a completely different feeling. Now I wake up and I'm trying to think, whose day can I make each day? And it feels so much better going to bed thinking about whose day did I make instead of who do I have to sell Juice Plus to? Who's going to want my Juice Plus? You naturally are going to find out people's wants and needs, and you're naturally going to have a flow that part of making their day is letting them know what's going on with you and your life and your story and how Juice Plus has helped you. And some days there's going to be a place for that, and some days you're just going to make somebody else's day in another way. One time a girlfriend just really needed somebody to go to dinner with her. That's what I did. But I go to bed feeling good, and I wake up energized to do it again. And this is what brings consistency to your business. When you continually change your mindset, that's what you're doing is making somebody's day. I don't expect you to be able to read all of this, but it's just a reminder also that you have to decide that following up is an act of love, and it can be the most difficult thing for so many people to do, but it's the right thing to do. And if you're having dialogue and you're finding out enough about what that person's needs are, and you're not becoming defensive at all with, if they're not interested, you're just trying to find out if there is a need and is there some other way that you can help them. And this time, this is the end of a conversation where Ron had 17 contacts with this man, and he was really kind of difficult to deal with. But Ron just stayed the course, saying, following up is an act of love. I'm going to show him my care, and I'm going to see if I can help him have results in any way. And in the end, he did end up signing up for Juice Plus, and he's on his second box right now. So that consistency of contact is going to bring results for you as well. And then you just have to decide, I know we're not all women in the business, but a lot of us are, but decide you're a woman on a mission and let that ooze out of you. Being authentic, okay? Not like you're trying to have a pitch and reel somebody in, but just being real with your story. Decide what has the product done for you? What has the business done for you? Or what are you hoping it to do for you? And then you just let little pieces of that ooze out in your conversation. It's pieces of your story, right? You don't have to give a 3 to 5 minute story. Just little bits here and there will do. And when I was on my 2-month road trip across the country this summer, one of my neighbors I connected with, hadn't seen her, talked to her in 10 years. And I was just sharing with her that, wow, this road trip really doesn't even feel like work, that we're having so much fun. And then I also learned from the Team Z boot camp to throw in one more statement. And that statement was, if you know of anyone that would love to help a bunch of people or be on this kind of mission with me, please connect me, right? And so yours might be if you know of anyone, looking to earn some extra income. They like to help people. It can be any of those kind of words. Please connect me with them. And her response back was, what about me? And if you know this lady, you'd be like, no way. At least that's how I thought. But this is just a good reminder that if we're doing our business and we're out there just oozing our enthusiasm and our love for this business and this product and this company, little by little, people are going to be interested and they're going to want to be part of that. So make sure you are consistent with sharing your story and parts of it all the time. And Tony Robbins says, if you don't schedule it, it's probably not going to happen. And if you do schedule it, think how that prepares your brain, right? If you schedule a meeting to go in to meet with your child's teacher, you're already kind of thinking about it, today this is what I have to do. If you have your hair appointment, you're going to go in and do it. We don't get to those times of the day and just go, I really don't feel like it. I think I'll watch Jeopardy instead. Yeah, we don't do that because we scheduled it. We prepared our minds for it. And sometimes you might have a really busy schedule and you just have to decide, what do you want to give up? Because we all have different things that come into our lives. Or maybe you just have to get up an extra half hour early each day to do what you want to do, because it's really going to be about having that consistency of action that is, it's so much more important than just doing your business in spurts, just like we said. And the reason is because you just become a more reliable person, and people are going to look at you. Really, they're going to be drawn to you like a magnet. And even if they're not on Juice Plus, they're going to start thinking, you're the go-to person for health. You're the go-to person for business and business startup. If you're showing fun things you're doing at your home, getting together, whatever it is, salad in a jar, or maybe watching a documentary or something, and everybody's happy and healthy and having fun, you're going to become that person for community as well. And that's exactly what you want. But if you only do it once and nobody sees it again, you're forgotten. So be consistent with your efforts at all time. If you have a piece of paper, I'd really encourage you right now to do a self-assessment checklist. And at the conference, they even took pictures of the screen because I said, it's really good to look at this on a weekly basis. These are the basic building blocks to your business. And if you're not doing these every week, then you're missing out. Okay, this is how you have to decide, what am I consistently doing? How many people did you share Juice Plus with this week? And that doesn't mean that you just think by osmosis, right? That, well, they know what I do, if they'd ask me if they wanted to know. I mean really sharing Juice Plus, where you really share your story, you share an event with them, or call, a video, something concrete. And then, did you have an event at your home this month? It doesn't have to be a really big major thing. If you're not into planning kind of things like that, invite a group of friends over just for a potluck and share what's going on in your life. Ask them what's going on in their lives. Have coffee and conversation. And you can even say, let's talk about all this illness going around and what we can do to be better for it. How many customers did you love on this week? I used to sit and wait like, I got to do a big customer mailing. And I wouldn't have very much contact. But it can be as simple as you just thought of that customer, or on the Team Z, your customer is going to pop up. Why not just text them a quick thing saying, hey, just thinking about you. Thanks so much for letting me, be on your health journey. How are you doing on your Juice Plus? Check in on them. Let them know you care, that you notice them. And three-way connection calls, there's nothing better than having that third-party validation. I don't care how smart you are, how good you are, how much you know about this product or this business. Putting somebody else on the phone that can also be your amener is going to have power. And just like we talked about sharing little parts of your business story, maybe it's as small as you go in your room, mom, with your kids that day, and to say, oh my gosh, on my old job, I would have had to ask to take off. I love how free it is that I can just come and be part of my child's class today. She's beaming, that she was so proud to have me there. Little snippets of just oozing out. And then, are you tuned into the online events that we have? And we can let you know what those are, but we advertise tons of them all the time. So this is the crux of what we need to be doing. But oftentimes what we're doing is we're just thinking of our business, and we get so exhausted just thinking, I have to follow up with that customer. I have to follow up with that customer. Oh, I should be sharing this. Oh, I should have an event. I should. Stop shooting on yourselves. It's a mess. And do the real thing. Do the things with the bullet points, the things that count. When I was at the conference, we had everybody just stand up and say, if you're ready to be consistent, and you can do this at home right now if you want to, it's good to move your body when you're going to make a big change. And we just put our fingers out and we said, if you're ready to be consistent, enough is enough. You're going to draw a line in the sand. And we all just put our arms up and we drew a line in the sand and decide enough is enough. And that's going to look different to everybody. Like my friend I stayed with, she homeschools her 6 children. I'm an empty nester, right? So what I schedule in my workday is going to be different than what she schedules in her workday. But whether you're going to take a little tiny step or a giant leap, the main thing is you're doing something every day, okay? Or at least most days of the week. Eric Johnson says there are 5 things that we need to be doing to be successful in our business. So along with those 4 majors that we just did the self-assessment on, here's some things that you need to kind of take check of what you're doing. Are you consistently a product of the product? If you don't have all the products and you haven't experienced them, I highly encourage you to get on board, okay? You really can't share a product if you have no experience with it. And are you consistently investing in your personal development? For those of you showing up on this meeting today, this is part of your personal development. Going to a conference is your personal development. Going to a boot camp, reading personal development books, all of these things are so important, and nobody can do them for you, okay? You are responsible for your own learning, and if you get on board to learning and plugging into Juice Plus events, no one can stop you in this business. And then, are you walking the walk? Jay Martin often said, you got to walk the walk. You can't just talk about health and then not practice being healthy yourself. What are you doing to get movement each day? Are you drinking water, or are you sitting there with a liter of soda? Are you trying healthy recipes? Are you doing the Shred 10 yourself? I know our group, we started our Shred 10 again today. So be a walking example. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect. Nobody is. But do your best, folks. And are you consistently sharing your story and your journey on social media? And that does not mean, absolutely does not mean posting, here's my website, check it out. Do not do that, but be real. And from Eric Johnson, he talks about using the 411 formula. And that means you'll have 4 posts that follow under the HIRE acronym. That means your post always should be uplifting. They're helpful, inspirational, about relationship things with your friends, your family, educational. And then you're going to have one kind of soft offer a week. Maybe that's inviting them to be part of, we've done the detox group. We've done the crock pot recipe group. Maybe you're just showing your smoothie and talking about that. And then one kind of more hard offer where it tells more specifically about our products and what they've done for you. The more you can put a personal thing, you don't want to just put a bunch of information out there. Always have at least a sentence about what it's personally doing for you. How did it make you feel? What were your results? And number 5, are you staying consistently in touch with your relationships? So if somebody sends you a text or a messenger, do you get back to them in a timely manner? Do you go to are you aware of what's going on in their page? Do you like and comment on their page? Stay in touch. And the reason we want to do all of these things is because we're in the relationship business and you have to have trust. Doing these 5 things will build trust with you and your friends and contacts. So I can't see anybody, but think about it. Honestly, how many of you would consistently share Juice Plus if you knew it could save someone's life? If you knew it could save someone's life, would you consistently share Juice Plus? Or what if it could save somebody's livelihood? That'd be pretty major, right? I had a lot of people in the audience raise their hand yes to this. And I'm going to just show Ron here for a minute. This is Ron during one of his hospital stays, and this doesn't look like a sad picture, but when Ron and I brought this picture up, this is the lowest of lows. This is definitely one of the lowest of low times for Ron and me. When we brought up this picture, we both got all teary-eyed because he was in the hospital as a side effect from one of his cancer treatments. He was in for 2 weeks, and he lost 19 pounds during that 2 weeks. And right here you see the light on in the room, but for so many days before this, I sat on that sofa or that chair in back of his bed, and he could not stand any light. He could not stand any darkness. He could not regulate his body temperature, and he couldn't keep any food down at all, or even liquids, anything they put IV. They had teams of, dietitians and nutritionists in there trying to figure out what to do. And so think of that helpless feeling. This is the love of my life. And I'm just watching him about shake off the bed. He couldn't keep anything in him. I'm just trying to have something to catch whatever's coming at him, both sides of him. I'm crawling on top of him when it gets really bad and just laying my body on him, trying to warm him and calm him so he's not shaken off. But through it all, we finally reached a turning point. And I asked the doctor, can I just give him something I think his body will recognize? I want to give him this our plant-based shake. It has a perfect digestibility score. And so if you look right there, that's his shake he's holding. And this was a turning point for Ron because we mixed that with coconut water. And he drank that down, and lo and behold, he kept it down. And he got strong enough that he could get out of the hospital. So this was a huge time for us. And talk about saving a livelihood through all of this too. I'm so grateful that back in the beginning, when I was the girl in the bubble, that I consistently built my business. I consistently got those customers, and I consistently added buddies and invited them to join me. I had no idea I was going to need this business. I had no idea I'd want to be a national marketing director. But because I did that, I have that benefits package that covers all of Ron's healthcare. They have said no to nothing for us. And it gave me the flexibility that I could be at all of his many, many, many appointments over the almost last 10 years. He's had so many surgeries and so many treatments and so many things happening. And so you might be thinking right now, Susie, are you sure that Juice Plus is working? Your husband has cancer. Yes, he has stage 4 cancer. Yes, he was given a 12% chance to live, right? Basically, Ron should be dead because he had a 12% chance to live 5 years. We're way beyond the 5 years, and Ron is here. And those of you know Ron, he's even on the phone right now. He's doing well. The other thing that I know and gave me proof was the same thing with the MD Anderson cancer study. Those cancer patients were given a 50% chance of being alive in 5 years. And it's not 5 years later, not 6 years later, but 7 years later, many more than 50% are alive. All of those that continued on with the Juice Plus, they had the capsules and the complete, 94% of them are still alive. I just think that's a miracle. It's so incredible. So this is amazing. And I have no doubt that because of the Juice Plus product and the business, that is why we are still alive and well here. We are still in our home, and it saved us in so many ways. So just think, what if you were consistent, right? What if you were consistent? What could that do for people you know? How many Ron and Susie Llewellyns do you know? Or what if that became your life? What if something tried to throw you off the mountain? Are you able to stay the course and still keep on going? So I'm just going to leave you with a song that sometimes you just have to put the right mindset in your head. And I just invite you to push all the fear aside. We do have a product that we know can help save lives. We have a business that can help save people's livelihood. And we just going to have to stomp down that fear and push aside the procrastination. And it's time to step into consistency, because when you're consistent, that's when you're going to change the most lives, including your own. So here's a song. And at the conference, it was cool because everybody stood up and we all just sang a couple of verses of this song. Oh, is it not going to work? I can't see anybody, but I'm just gonna play a couple of verses.
Sick and tired of being sick and tired. Had as much of you as I can take. I'm so done, so over being afraid. I've gone through the motions, I've been back and forth. I know that you're thinking you've heard this before. I don't know how to say it, so I'm just gonna say it, yeah. Fear you don't own me, there ain't no room in this story. And I ain't got time for you telling me what I'm not strong, and I am free, got my own identity. So fear, you will never be welcome here. Take a minute, let it settle in. You probably never saw it coming. Something's gotta give, so I give up you. Oh, there's no room for you here, yeah, I've had enough. So no vacancy sign on my heart is lit up. In case you didn't hear it, here it is again. Oh, fear you don't own me. There ain't no room in this story. And I ain't got time for you telling me what I'm not, like you know me. Well, guess what? I know who I am. I know I'm strong. And I am free, got my own identity. So fear, you will never be welcome here. Is there anybody out there just like me?
Are we back? Okay, so that's what I did in Richmond. It was really cool because we're in a big theater and you have hundreds of people just swaying, and we're just saying, get rid of that fear. We're going to be consistent. And it was awesome. So that was a snippet of what I did.